Okay, Grimes, how are you?
Pretty good, how are you?
We're in your tour bus.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look. So, you've just played your set at Reading Festival 2012. How did it go?
I think it went pretty well, but like I'm fairly sick, so like
Yeah.
I felt kind of sketchy myself, but like I don't know, the crowd was really responsive and stuff, so that was good.
And have you caught anyone else here today? Like, have you been watching anyone or just getting some rest?
Just resting, but I'm gonna see Azalea Banks and KDB are gonna play.
Yeah.
So those are the two bands I want to see.
Nice.
They're both playing here, this stage.
Alright, it sounds like it's going off.
Yeah, so I don't even need to leave, I can just stay here.
Just stay here, nice.
Yeah, we saw Green Day kind of.
Oh, how was that?
It was kind of good. They played a lot of Dookie, and like when I was really into Dookie when I was a teenager, and like Nimrod. So like I don't really listen to Green Day anymore, I guess, 'cause, you know, like but it was sort of nostalgic.
Basket case though, right?
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you what your definition of punk is.
Well, my definition of punk, I mean, it totally, I know so many people that have totally different definitions of what punk means. Like, I guess it's more of like an ideological sort of response to things. Like, I don't know how, I mean, there's obviously the musical, like, you know, various musical ideas of what like, punk is, which is, you know, like 3 chords and like yelling and like, you know, but
classic stereotype. You
know, I think it's like just like an inherently political and sort of like music oriented movement that is like generally opposed to conservatism. And but I don't know, well, it's weird, like it's hard to make grand statements about punks, 'cause I've met a lot of like totally sexist, like asshole alcoholic punks, and I've met a bunch of like straight edge like feminist punks, you know what I mean? So but you know, basically that's, you know,
some people can take it the wrong way, I guess.
I just think punk is a really broad term at this point. I just think there's been so many different like ideas of what punk is, and like it's very, you cannot sum it up.
Favorite punk band ever?
Favorite punk band ever?
Your Desert Island punk disc.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what counts as punk anymore. Like, are the Ramones punk? Like,
I guess so, yeah.
I don't know. It's like Latigra punk. Like, I don't know. Like, is that like, there's just all these like different like branches. Like, I just feel like I'm not, I don't know. Favorite punk record.
Is Lady Gaga punk?
No. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we know you're from Canada. What's the main differences in the audience between like an English audience and a Canadian audience? And do you notice any difference when you're traveling, the crowds, like differing?
I don't know, it really depends. I'd say there's like more of a difference between like West Coast and East Coast audiences than like, I don't know. British audiences are like, I mean, I've mostly played festivals here, so it's really hard for me to say, because most of the shows I've played in England have been all ages. Yeah. And I'd say there's more of a difference between like all ages versus non all ages than there are between like English and like North American audiences. But you know, like this crowd was really like just loud and like vocal, and like people were screaming a lot and like on each other's shoulders and stuff, and that doesn't happen very much in Canada. Right. Because people in Canada are very reserved.
Bit more reserved, bit more.
Yeah. And I think people are more drunk earlier in the day here.
Right. Yeah, that happens. So we know in New Orleans, someone tried to steal your keyboard, right?
Yeah. That was a great show, actually.
Do you need us to fit an alarm system on the Gaia?
No. Though the guys...
You're gonna handle it?
Yeah. I don't really play shows. I haven't played that many shows where I'm like in the audience these days. That was very much like playing on the floor with like people behind me. With people
around you.
It was like a, not in like a venue, you know.
And do you think he was actually trying to steal it, or was he just caught up in the moment?
I think he was trying to steal it, but he was also clearly like, I was like, you're not gonna remember this moment. Like his eyes were like rolling in the back of his head. Like he was just like grabbing my like thing, and I was just like.
His friends would be like, do you know what you did last night at the show?
Yeah.
No, did I?
He was actually a dick. He peed on his girlfriend after the show, and I tried to call her a cab because she was like puking outside.
Joking.
Yeah, and then he was like, I'll drive her home, like get her. And I was like, dude, you're so drunk, you can't drive your girlfriend home. And I got in like a big fight with him.
Oh God.
Yeah, so he turned out to be just like the worst person ever.
That's not the most romantic date of all time.
No.
So, you know, you're playing the Roland Gaia. How's it working out for you?
I don't know, it's great. It's little. That's the big difference.
You like the small keyboard and just hands-on.
It's
like
good
we know
to,
you're using a lot of the kind of the knobs and faders.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
good for like my noise jam, for my psych jams.
Yeah, psych jams. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're using the cutoff kind of a lot, bringing it back in, and
yeah. And then you like bring the pitch like, and then it's like a little EDM or something.
Nice, nice. So, what have you got left for the rest of the year? Like, what's the kind of highlight coming up for you? There's so much going on for you right now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think the highlight. I don't know. I'm pretty excited to go to like I'm doing like the very last stuff that I'm doing is really exciting. I'm doing like Australia and New Zealand. And then like the Coachella Cruise, which that might be really weird, but I think it'll be really fun because a bunch of my other friends who are musicians are also playing that.
Yeah.
And it'll just be like being in the Bahamas with like, I've never been on a cruise, I've never been to the Bahamas. That sounds pretty exciting. And then I'm going to Mexico because I get off on New Year's Eve, and then Skrillex is playing, or sorry, I get off on Christmas Eve, and then Skrillex is playing in Mexico on New Year's Eve, and I want to go see that show. And I know a bunch of people that were on the Skrillex tour are gonna go to that show, so I think there'll be like a slight reunion there, and that'll be really nice.
Nice. Oh, so you know all those guys?
Yes, yeah. And I mean, just like everyone who was on the train, including like all the like, you know, everyone just had like bonded a lot. So
nice.
Yeah.
So as far as songwriting goes, how do you? We know you write songs really quickly. You've said before that you write a song in a day. Normally, it's like start to finish in a day. Is the process still the same? Do you go into the studio? You said you've got better at production.
Yeah. Well. Lately it's been a lot more like, it's been taking longer because, I don't know, it's kind of like a bike, like it's kind of like fixing a bike. Like the more you know about bikes, then like all of a sudden you see all the problems with your bike. Like before I knew how to fix my bike, I would just ride my bike and just never tighten the brakes or anything for like years. And then like the bike would just, and then eventually the bike would just be broken and I'd be like, oh. But then like once I like sort of figured out, like started learning about like fixing bikes, and all of a sudden I was like constantly having to like fix my bike and like replace things and do stuff, and it's kind of like that now. It's like the more I know about production, the more it's just like, I don't know, it probably takes me like 3 days to make a song now. And
presumably the more you know about bikes, the more accessories you want to get for your bike.
Yeah, like the more you know about plugins.
You want to get more toys.
Yeah.
So are you, I mean, like, take us through that 3-day songwriting stance. I mean, are you literally just going in and starting with a drum beat?
I usually start with a drum beat. It's usually like the first day I'll kind of make like a layout.
Yeah.
And I'll want to produce like the whole thing. And like now I'm really sort of like, because before it'd be like, I'll just do it and like, we can fix it in mastering. We can, you know, we'll mix it after. But now I'm very much like mixing it as I go and trying to make it like as good as it can be, like as I'm, you know, because before there would be so much repairing like after the fact. So now then I'll probably do like a day of like vocals, and then like a lot of times that'll lead to like changes in the structure in the song, and then I usually spend like a day like going back and changing stuff,
right,
and like reproducing things, like because when I do the vocals I have to turn the, you know, on Ableton, the rate, whatever it's called, of like, sorry, see, I don't.
That's cool. We're with you.
My ignorance makes itself apparent. But you know, like the equivalent of like frame rate, or you know, like just the resolution I turn way down, and then like everything sounds like shit, and then I record all the vocals, and when I turn it back up, then I hear like everything that I need to fix again.
Well, it sounds good to us, and we know we can't wait to hear some new stuff. I mean, do you know when we might be able to hear any new songs?
Well, I'm trying to decide if I just actually met with the 4D. We'll might put out like a single or like 2 singles or 4 singles
nice.
in like November, or just wait till I finish a full length. We're just play by ear. I'm
not gonna lie, we can't wait to hear it. You got some big fans here, and especially for Roland.
Cool.
Thank you so much, and have a good festival.
Oh, thank you.